Guys, welcome back to my channel. In case you're seeing my face for the first time, my name is Tosi. On here we talk about self-improvement, self-development, and everything nice. And in case you've been here before, you already know, you're welcome back, Ryuji. I'm so happy to have you here once again. So guys, today we're going to be talking, I'm going to be sharing my single season lessons, all the things I'm learning being single. So if you want to hear that, let's go. So guys, I've been wanting to do one of this for the longest time. I don't know why I just don't do it. I think I shy away from relationship talks so much that I have so much in my mind I won't talk about, but I just shy away from it because you know you can be now with relationship talk and social media. But I felt that God is making me pushing me to do this video because I feel like I'm disobeying. But yeah, I'm here, and this video is for people who are single, not by choice, right? So not us that were single by choice. I say us because I include myself, right? I've been single for quite a while. I'm basically not going to give you guys how long I've been single, right? But I've been single for quite a while, and before my last relationship ended, I had it at the back. See, in fact, before my last relationship ended, if I'm being very honest here, I wanted to be single for a while. I really just wanted to know what it is like to just not have anybody I was seeing, right? Um, so I before the last relationship, I knew ended. First off, I knew it was going to end, not because of anything, but I feel like I saw it coming, and being deep thought and everything. I just felt like, you know what, yeah. So I did have a back of my mind. I'm like, okay, when this day come, if I'm being very honest, I prepare so much for this single season before my last like mentally before my last relationship ended. So I was just like, yes, now this is time for me to be single by choice, right? So this video is actually for people who are not single by choice. I feel like it's a very different ball game when you're not single by choice. It hits harder and it hits different when you're not single by choice, right? So I am single by choice for a while because I have like a goal. Do you understand? So yeah, when I'm ready, I'll go back into the dating scene and all that. So yeah, so this video I'm trying to be calm in case I'm talking slow. Mother nature is hitting me hard. So yeah. Um I just I'm learning a lot in this season, and I felt like, you know what, I want to share one or two. I don't know who's going to help. I don't know why this idea keeps dropping in my mind. I feel like doing the same video on Instagram, but I think this YouTube is my safe space. So yeah. So the first thing I am learning is you need to believe that it's not a bad thing for you to be single. Prior to now, I used to think, oh, if you're single, it's a problem. You'll be lonely, you be alone, you feel lonely. Now, the thing is, yes, you're going to feel lonely. You don't have anybody calling you. Oh, my phone is as dry. I don't think my phone has ever been this dry before. For it's more than a year, right? And if I tell you guys how dry it is, right? It's it's really dry. When I say it's really dry, it's actually really dry. Um, you'll be lonely. You definitely not have anyone to talk to. But prior to now, I used to feel it's worse. Like, how can you be single? You're going to feel worse. You're going to feel terrible. You're going to feel bad. So, coming with that mindset, I wanted it to be different for me, right? Like I said before, I was mentally prepared, really prepared. I mentally had to prepare myself that it's going to be lonely. Yes, you have anybody chatting with you, you don't have anybody calling you, you don't have anybody fighting with you, you won't have to be angry at anybody, and that's what it is. But if you are single and not by choice, you need to understand that it's okay to be single. I think what we've had at the back of our mind is that when you're single, you have a problem, right? But you need to believe it that I don't know how else to put it. You need to believe it at the back of your mind that this is happening for you. There's a reason why it is happening. So you have to believe that it's not a bad thing that you are single. It's not a bad thing that you feel lonely. I was watching one TikTok or reel yesterday that I was saying that the loneliness you will feel it and it is part of your journey, right? There's a time of isolation, and I think that many of us don't know this, but if you have an opportunity to be isolated before your next phase of life, it's one of the best opportunity that God can ever give you. Let me tell you guys something for free. I have people that are married around me, a lot of them. And I will tell you guys something for free. When you are married, it is 10 times difficult to find yourself than when you are single. Trust me. It is 10 times difficult to find yourself than when you're single. So when you have the opportunity to be single, please, why not see it as an opportunity instead of a bad thing? Instead of you seeing it as a bad thing, right? So yeah, that is like the first thing you need to believe. I even by choice, I had to believe it, right? That oh, it's not a bad thing to be single. I had to understand it. And because I was single by choice, I became I I will tell you guys something. I am over comfortable being single. I must say that because any small thing, I don't want wala, right? So it's always very important to know it at the back of your mind. Yeah, I feel like I spent so much time on that particular point. But the next one is to use the time to focus on yourself. Use the time to focus on other things. Having a relationship is not the only goal you have in life. For some people, it's an achievement, and that's fine, right? It's okay. You getting married, you think that is an achievement for you, that's fine. Me personally, I feel like I would do like one of my sit down video, we'll talk about it, but let me just say one thing. You getting married shouldn't be an achievement. It is something that you need as a child of God. It's something that you need to know at the back of your mind that is going to happen to you. Why? Because God has said it will. It's part of your destiny. So it shouldn't be something that happen to you and like, oh, it's a big achievement that I'm married. No. And that is where pressure comes in for you to be married because you feel like it's an achievement. I'm not saying getting married is a bad thing. I am saying it is part of life, right? I'm saying as a child of God is one of those good, beautiful things that God will give to you, right? So you don't have to see it as a very big achievement. Oh, it's an achievement. I'm married. No, right? So why don't you just focus on other things? Sorry about that. So it is always very important for you to use this time to focus on other things, which is where I will say my own came from. I wanted to focus on other things. I kind of feel like being in a relationship, having someone was like taking a lot of me. So, and I was like, no, you see all this effort that I put in. If I put it on other things, I know what will happen to me if I put this effort on other things. Do you understand? So, in this time of being single, why don't you use this time to culture or activate that hobby that you have, that school you want to go to, that thing you want to learn? Use the time to focus on yourself. I talked about this in one of my reel of being single, where I said that when you are single, your brain works differently. Trust me, it does. When you are single, your brain works differently. It works 10 times faster. And honestly, and like I'm being honest here, right? It works 10 times faster. Why? Because you're not thinking about other things. You're thinking about yourself. Your world is not revolved around a man. It's not revolved around, oh, I have to do these certain things and also think about my partner. Do you understand? Your mind works differently. Your brain is calm, it is settled, it is focused. So why don't you use the time to do other things? It's easier said than done, right? I'm single, I know what I'm saying. Even by choice, I know what I'm saying. Sometimes I want company, right? Sometimes I'm having a bad day and I in my mind I'm just like, hey God, should be if I had a man now, I would have poured this anger, tell him I'm feeling and all that. But I know it is not easy. It's easier said than done because we are human. We crave love. She gets. So it is always very, very important to use this time to focus on other things of your life, other things, other goals. It doesn't even have to be something serious. It's something that you've been wanting to do before. Traveling, travel, see the world, like do other things, use the time. The funny part is we don't know how long an isolation period will be for, a single season will be for. So why don't we just use it to be meaningful? There's a part of the Bible that says that, there's time for everything. A time to cultivate, a time to plant, a time to harvest. It implies to normal life, right? There is a time for you to be single, to work on yourself, to focus on yourself. There is a time and a phase where you have a family that you're even focusing on, that you're planting on. Do you understand? So, yeah. The next one is it is a time for you to reflect, evaluate yourself as a person, look at your character, look at, I think in that my reel I talked about how when you're single there are some things that you will notice about yourself, which is when you're single there are some characters that normally you don't have, but because you are with someone that has such partner, such thing, I feel like something is on my face, sorry guys, but because you are with someone, there's just this character that you develop from that person. I was watching somebody's she was giving like a testimony about her life and all that. She actually is my namesake, and I watched that video, and that video really just awakened me on this aspect because I got to understand that yes, there are some certain behaviors that you have. Most times you really don't have to even have intimate, intercourse with that person, right? But when you do have intimate intercourse with the person, is called spiritual transmitted characters or something like that, Sha, in that line, right? And but normally, let's say you're just a calm person and you are with a man that is always anxious about certain things. You are with a man that maybe he lies, he cheats. All of a sudden, you begin to see that you're anxious, you are worried, you're jealous. Why? Because that partner's character is bringing out that character out of you. Do you understand? But when you're single, you take out time to sit down to evaluate yourself. Let me tell you people something. That's why I said being single and being in an isolation period, isolation time is not only for marriage, it's also for where God is taking you to later in life, right? And there are some rubbish characters that we have that God has already seen the future and said, this character must not follow this girl to the next, stage that I'm taking her to. There's some like I said in one of my videos that I said that I'm not a great communicator. It's not like I don't know how to talk. I know how to talk. But I've come to understand that there's a certain way that people see me, and because they see me in such way when I speak, it's coming out as rude to them. It's coming out as some type of way, right? So I tend to have to know how to control my tone. Tone is very important when you're talking to people. What you say is what you say, but how you say it is what you mean. Do you understand? So I've just come to understand that. And this time you use the time to evaluate yourself. You're not perfect, all right? You're actually not. Maybe the reason why you're single is because you have a particular problem that you yourself you need to solve. Internal problem, outside problem, whatever problem is it. Sit down and talk about it. I remember the time where I started to, like say that not even me being single, the time I started to evaluate myself, I remember I will ask certain people certain things. And this communication was something that people said that is like literally my problem. Sometimes I don't know how to communicate. Sometimes I'm just a straightforward person. How are you? Fine. Like if I legit don't want to have a conversation with you, you will know that I don't hide it, right? You know that I don't. Right. So it's always very, very important to use the time, use this time to evaluate yourself. Use this time to tell God to help you to remold your character, not only for your husband, not only for your children, not only for that business or that job that you want to go for, but for yourself. There are certain characters that you don't need as a person. There are certain characters that you do not need as a person. So this time, use it to evaluate yourself. There are certain things that you are doing that you are not supposed to be doing. Work on it, right? work on it. Yeah. The next one is to find a way to work on how to have your own happiness. Like I said, this is a period of isolation. Period of isolation, like I said before, it's not everybody that has the opportunity to have it, right? But when you have the opportunity to have it, this is an isolation period where, in fact, you don't even to your friends, you're isolated, you are single, you're on your own, right? It's a time for you to work on your own happiness. If there's, I told you guys that I have a lot of people that are married around me, and I look at their marriage, right? If there's something I've come to understand is that yes, in having a family or having a man, a husband, and kids should be an additional happiness. If you don't have your own happiness, you're going to be depressed a lot. Why? Because you're going to be putting so much pressure on that your partner, on your kids to do well in school so that you can be happy, your partner to really love you so that you can find some validation of being happy. But when you're single, you make ways to be happy with yourself. Is it going to buy yourself ice cream? Is it taking care of yourself, self care? Is it going to see a movie? Is it reaching out to friends? Is it talking? Whatever it is. But when you are single, you find a way to work on your own happiness. That even when you have people around you, right, you know how to figure out how to be happy to yourself, not putting so much pressure on people to make you happy. You get me? Yeah. The last but not the least is not to be desperate. The season of being single is a time where, especially when you've been single for a very long time, let's say you've been single for 2 years, right? You will be very desperate at the point where you take anything that comes, right? Because you've been single for a long time and you just feel like, oh, this person that's coming out maybe is my husband. This time might not be your husband. You need to open your eyes. You need to open your eyes, especially spiritually. So let me tell you guys something. When it comes to I have understood a lot in this single season, but when it comes to marriage, you need to open your eyes spiritually. Don't just feel like, oh, I've been single for a while and this guy is taking care of me, is calling me, is carrying, is this, is that, then maybe it's the one. I've been single for a while, and I think I mentioned it. It's not like I'm not talking to people. I've met people that say that they want to even marry me. Not that they are joking, they are serious. But when you have mastered the act of discernment, the act of working with your instincts, and the act of letting God to speak to you, you won't be desperate. You have to try as much as possible. I know that age is working against whoever it may be, because me in this single season I've told myself that age is working for me. I don't care what it is. When it is the time, I'm going to get married, I'm going to have my kids, and God is going to give me that strength when the time comes, right? So it's always very important. Don't be desperate. Open your eyes. Men know when ladies are desperate and they know what they want to hear. So they say it to the lady. They know what this lady is expecting, especially when you now tell them you've been single for quite a while. Oh, it's like they want a jackpot to manipulate. So it's always very, very important to not be pressured. Don't be desperate. We all love what we're seeing online. I love it too, but I am opening my eyes. Open your eyes. It's very, very key. In your single season, you have to draw God close to you. Why? Because you want to do it once and you want to do it right. Right? You don't wait for so long and at the end you take a wrong move. Right? I'm not telling you. I saw a video on TikTok that the lady was talking about, even when you marry the person that God has said you marry, it's left for you to make it work. Yeah, that's another ball game on its own. So you don't just say that, okay, God said I should marry this person is my husband. That means everything will be rosy. No. I'm sorry, I was about to say a curse word, but no, it's not going to be like that. It's also your own job to make it work. So, guys, I could go on and on and on about this single thing I'm learning, but I just thought to come here and give you guys just a few tips. I hope you learned one or two. And I just really want to say to anyone who's watching this, being single, being worried, and all that, you're not alone. We're plenty. And one day, as God has always given me this Bible verse, I'm going to put it up here. I don't know, it's orphaned, that says that when is the right time, you know, I, the Lord, will do what I'm supposed to do. Let's put it that way. That's not the exact thing. My mind is deviating a bit, like I told you guys. It's the time of the month, so I'm just trying my best to speak. But I'm going to put it up here. You know, when God said it's the right time, it's good, like it's going to be beautiful. And that's what you should be praying for. So yeah, please give me a thumbs up if you like this video. I really, really appreciate it. Please subscribe to my channel. I really, really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye y'all.